Hello everyone, my name is Jaylin. I've been living in Malta for 5 years and I came here through MPRP program. So for today's interview, we invited Dr. Charlon Gouder from CivesMed and he can share some information about this program. Even he can help us about like local life, how to get into local life as a foreigner. Hello, Dr. Charlon Gouder.
Hello, Jaylin.
Okay, so before we start talking about Malta, can you give me introduction about yourself? Now that Dr. Charlon Gouder, we Google online who you really are.
Sure. As I said, my name is Charlon Gouder. I'm a lawyer by profession. I have a daughter, 13 years old. Right now, she's doing her exams, studying with her mother. Besides family, obviously, we have our own business. We help people and we have families understanding that they can go into a plan B that can give them security, a plan B that can give them a future. During the past years, we have helped so many different clients realizing that there's another home away from home.
Wow, that's really important. I mean, for me as a foreigner, it's the biggest problem for me. It's like because there's nowadays I have a lot of like a middleman or commission agency. So I have no idea about the control this program at the very beginning. So why should a family just trust to like you or us? Like how can you just help us in the future?
So the first thing when a family, because this is a decision that pertains not only to the main applicant, but pertains to the whole family. And when a family decides to start thinking about the plan B, the most important thing is that they have to decide who will help them during this sometimes long and laborious process. To relocate, to move, to think about the plan B, it takes a lot of courage. And along the way, there is as well a lot of sacrifice to be made.
Okay.
But with the right people and against the right advice, we can help you make this process faster and easier. The most important thing is who is going to help you throughout this process.
Okay.
And the scope of and the aim of our company is to help you and to help clients settling in Malta as fast as they can in the most comfortable manner.
So I have a question. Like, have you ever advised like client not to apply for those program in Malta?
Yes. Because first and foremost, I believe that we are here to assist the clients, but above all, we are not time wasters. In the sense that we are not after securing the client. That is important. But our goal is to make the client successful. And therefore, if we see that the client has a history where it is going to be very difficult for him to become successful, it would be wiser and more efficient to advise him not to consider Malta. I am proud of my country. I know that my country is a very welcoming country. However, we have to make sure that Malta attracts the right clients. Because of this program, the Malta Permanent Residency Program, has been with us for almost 12 years.
Wow, that's
The first version of the Malta Permanent Residency Program was called the the MRVP, the Malta Residency and Visa Program. That was the first addition. And for the past 11 to 12 years, this program and the changes that there has been in this program were always to the good. So we never experienced hiccups. We never experienced issues. We never experienced bad press. This program has always been at the top of the agenda for the good things, because this is the right program that has attracted to Malta the right clients. And the role of us as a licensed agents, because we are not middlemen, is to make sure that we do not only source the right people, but we also attract the right people, because at the end of the day, we as Maltese want Malta better, but as well the foreigners that make Malta their second home. They
Yeah.
want to live in a better Malta. And for that to happen, we have to make sure that whoever comes to Malta will live to the expectations of our country.
Okay. So as you mentioned before, you helped a lot of family settle down in Malta. So what do you think the one thing like every family wanted, like regardless their nationalities?
First and foremost, we are speaking about residency. So residency is not citizenship. And this is a very important consideration that we always make sure that the client understands. We are not here primarily to promote Malta citizenship, but we are here primarily to promote Malta's permanent residence. And this is a very important distinction, but a very important consideration. When you look to other countries that may be offering similar programs like us in Malta, no other program is permanent like the Malta Permanent Residency Program. So the MPRP gives an indefinite right, and it's a right, which means it is the result of the law to live and reside permanently in Malta and also have access to Schengen. One of the reasons why clients do consider Malta is because of the education. Whenever we speak with potential or prospective clients, one of the very first questions that they do ask is, what is the level of the appetite of the Maltese people towards immigration? And I believe that you are a testament how Malta is really a welcoming country,
Yes.
because we do accept, we are very tolerant towards prospective immigrants coming to Malta to be part of Malta's network and Malta's ecosystem. But then the second question would be, what about the education?
Yes.
Unfortunately enough, Malta, as a Commonwealth country, but as well as a connected country, we have various opportunities, or we can give various opportunities to students wishing to follow a better educational path, either based on the American system or else based on the international baccalaureate. Both systems, both school of thoughts are available in Malta and also accessible. For example, as a company, we have a very good relationship with one of the tops international schools in Malta. The name of the school is Haileybury, with whom we are working very closely, because we believe that they have an extremely good proposition to give to students wishing to pursue their studies in Malta. But besides Haileybury, there are other international schools in Malta, or private schools, and also very good public schools.
Are there also in English? There's a language of instruction.
English is not our second language. English is our official language by the Constitution of Malta, which is the supreme law of Malta. English is defined as our official language. So although we have our own language, which is the Maltese,
Yes.
but besides the Maltese, our other official language, not the second language, it is the other official language, is the English language. And this is a very important consideration, especially when you consider that it's already a cumbersome thing to move into a new country. But when you are moving into a new country and you have absolutely zero clue with the language, then it will be more difficult. In the case of Malta, because English is our official language, even the laws, for example, they are written in the English language. And why it is important? Because you do not need to rely on translations. So if you need to look at something from the law, the legal, all the laws in Malta, they are written, for example, in Maltese and English. Schools, English is the language that is spoken, it is used. Besides schools, wherever you go, actually, English is the language which we use to communicate. And I believe that gives an added value for someone thinking to relocate to Malta, primarily because of our language. The interesting about Haileybury is that they are moving into new location, into new premises,
That's nice.
which are brand new in a very nice place in Mtarfa, which is also very historic and which is also very attractive for students wishing to not only enter into the educational sphere of Malta, but as well to start to start a new venture into a new school. They have already a presence in Malta, which is a considerably smaller premises, but now from the next academic year, they are moving into new premises, which are larger, nicer, and which are more attractive for students wishing to start their educational journey in Malta. But besides the premises, I think that what Malta can offer in the educational field, no other country in the world can offer that. In Malta, we are accustomed that the system adjusts itself to the students and not vice versa. You mentioned that you had your educational background, your educational years and schooling in China.
Yeah.
We were speaking in the car, for example. You were accustomed to classes with huge numbers.
Yes, 15 people. In some city, they're gonna hundreds people, even more.
50 to 100.
Yeah, I can't even follow the teacher during the classes. So that's what I'm really.
Sometimes it is also very difficult to see the teacher if you are towards the end of towards the back of the class.
Well, to be honest, if I want to follow teacher, I have to try to sit in front of it as close as possible. Otherwise, I have to.
So there is a competition for the front benches.
Yeah, I have to come just to fight for me for my studies.
And I do understand that when you think that Malta, we are more accustomed to smaller classes, smaller groups, a more one-to-one attention, a more personalized attention, and that is something which is very unique. But above all, and that is why I told you before that it is the system that will adjust to the student and not the student has to adjust to the system, because our educational system will offer as well support on a one-to-one basis. For those students, we call them the learning support assistants. For those students who really wish or who really need, not a wish, who really need the one-to-one support. In order to make sure that we bridge that gap between students who are considered to be fast learners and students who may have other challenging issues. But we believe on a lifelong journey attitude. So it's not about a year, and if you fail that year, then you will not have the second or the third chance, because at the end of the day, education is a lifelong journey. And because of this type of attitude, because of this type of philosophy, where we give our educational system, will give that personalized attention to the student. And by personalized attention, it means coaching and individual support during the lessons and in the class. So students are not asked to leave the class. Students will not feel that they are something less than their friends. The most important thing is that everyone can believe that he can do it, and with the right support in Malta, our system will help to bridge that gap, as I said, and to make sure that students towards the end of their educational journey, they will take what they deserve.
Because nowadays there's more and more families move to Malta, like from China, Pakistan, America, and I think education is the priority for them, especially for a small family. And I'm just curious in like,
for example, this week we have received a client who came from US, for example, specifically because of education. So her main concern was rather than her relocation, but her main concern was about the education of her daughter.
Yes.
And obviously, as a company, as a licensed agent, as a firm in Malta, we give that support, and we do offer that support.
Okay. So, like, what about the parents? Like the student, okay, they go to school, they settle down. But what about the parent? Because, like, from my experience, the biggest worry about us, it's like I have a business in China and I have my property in China, but I have to restart everything in Malta, so it's a big like challenge for me. So how can I just start, or I have to relocate everything and move to Malta?
This is a very important question. The straight answer to your question is no. You do not need to relocate to Malta. You relocate if you really wish to come to Malta. But if you have your business, if you have your life, if you have your setup, which is going on, and you are not thinking of relocation, that's completely okay. You can stay in China, you can stay in Pakistan, you can stay in the United States, and come to Malta should you wish. If you really wish to come, the most important thing is not about the relocation. The most important thing is about having the plan B, the insurance. For example, Let us take a complete different example. A house. You do insure that. You do make an insurance for your house, just in case something happens. Not because something is going to happen, but if it happens, you will have your insurance policy to cover for that eventuality. The same applies with the Malta Permanent Residency Program. So you have the insurance, you have the Plan B, you have the alternative. Should you really need it? You may not need it, but if you need it, it's there waiting for you.
Okay, so we don't need to give up everything in my
Absolutely not. You don't even need to come to Malta. There is absolutely no requirement, no legal requirement to come to Malta to spend neither weeks nor days. So this is another important component which makes us completely different from other European jurisdictions where there is the mandatory period which you need to stay in that country in order to retain your status. In the case of Malta, it's absolutely not the case. There is zero mandatory requirements in terms of staying in Malta or residing in Malta in order to retain your status.
Okay, if I don't need to stay here forever, I don't need to come. But what about, for example, if I have a kid and she's gonna be like 18 years old, can we just like add them to my application, or they have to like apply before they're 18, under 18? Do you have like an age limitation?
Mala,
Those kind of things?
let us first understand who can apply for this program. So we will have the main applicant together with his partner or his spouse, their children up to 18 years of age. They are absolutely automatically accepted. Between the age of 18 to 28 years of age, we need to provide the financial dependency. For example, dependents still going to school, dependents that are still unmarried, dependents that they depend on either the main applicant or the spouse, together with the ascendants of both the main applicant and the spouse. And we have as well the fifth generation. We call it the fifth generation. In the future,
so the grandparents even can come.
the grandparents can come. But even, for example, if in the future, the kid who is today age 17 years old, in the future he will get married.
Yeah.
He can also, the partner can also be part of the application. For those who have not made it during the first stage of the application, there is always the option against a small application fee. They can always be added to the application because the concept is not about money. The Malta Permanent Residency Program is not about making people pay. It's about making sure that the family together are united. That is why this is the only program which is available to almost the entire different generations belonging to the same family. Because the core of the Malta Permanent Residency Program is the family that is very important. For example, that is why in China, the Malta Permanent Residency Program is important because for the Chinese people, the family unit, the family component is amongst the top of their priority. And when this program was designed, one of the aims behind this program was keeping the family unit together.
Oh, that's nice.
And healthcare services, which were hailed by several international organizations, amongst them the World Health Organizations, about their robustness during difficult times such as COVID, for example.
Yeah.
We all know how difficult it was, COVID, onto the health infrastructure. In the case of Malta, Malta passed with flying colors. Why? Because we have an excellent healthcare system. However, as part of the application and during the tenure of the MPRP, everyone is expected to have a medical healthcare insurance which can cover up to 100,000 euros in terms of medical healthcare services.
Wow.
Although in other countries this may seem to be very expensive, in the case of Malta, and again because of our collaboration with other insurance companies, we can give very good proposals. We can offer very good proposals at extremely good and competitive prices. So the most important thing is to reach out to us, and we can help our clients sourcing or finding the right insurance portfolio against the right price.
Okay. There's many firms only handle the paperwork, and what about you firm, and what does you firm like actually do for families applications things?
We have helped hundreds, if not thousands of families passing through this journey. And we have helped them from A to Z. And by this, I mean, not only we took care of their immigration application and making sure that they are successful, because we give a lot of attention that the clients we go for, the clients that we attract, the clients that we market for are good and reputable clients for Malta's program. But as well, we do help the clients with all the remaining issues or all the remaining requirements under the program, whether it's the rental component, whether it's the real estate component, whether it's insurance, whether it's education, whether it's concierge, whether it's getting to know Malta better. This is the one-stop shop. We are, I would say, one of the only law firms in Malta that we offer an almost one-stop shop for the client, not only to start with us, but as well to finish his journey and relocate, should he wish, to Malta in the future.
Because as I know, like if you want to work in Malta for different like agency, or you have to have a license for it. So like I'm as a foreigner, I have no idea, or how can I get a license form?
The Malta Permanent Residency Program is an immigration program. So it gives the right to reside permanently, indefinitely in Malta. It does not give you the right automatically to work. For that, there is another process, which we do help the clients. As you know, Malta is booming. The least thing to worry is about finding a job.
Yeah, it is.
Because we have almost zero unemployment rates. And during the past 10 to 12 years, Malta's economy more than doubled. And because of the huge success from an economic point of view that Malta made during the past years, we had to rely more and more on third country nationals, inviting them to be part of Malta's booming economy. Will not automatically give the right to work, however, against a process which is not laborious, which is not difficult, surely it is not challenging for someone who wish to work whilst he's in Malta, because you are expected to work whilst you are in Malta. Unless you come from a wealthy family where you do not need to work, you are expected to work. However, there is a process which we can help the clients to acquire the necessary permits, the necessary licensing, so that they can work also whilst they are in Malta. For example, a single work permit or any other permit which is extended on a yearly basis. With the MPRP, you are having an indefinite right to reside in Malta, and no future government can ever take that right from you unless you breach any conditions set the law. And when I say a right is the result of the law, which means you have the legitimate expectation to expect that any future decisions which any future government can make on this program will definitely not interfere with the right you would have obtained under that particular legal regime.
Oh, that's nice. So I'm just have some question about MPRP program, as you already share a lot of information for us about MPRP, like how is advantage for us for business, education, everything. But if I am still considering if I'm going to do the MPRP or not, so how many I should cost during this waiting year, like for application, the money for?
To answer, first and foremost, we have to understand that there is not very much options where and third country nationals looking at relocation they can go to. They can go to Greece, for example, but we all know that the property component is very expensive.
Yeah, it is.
You can go to Portugal, for example, but we all know the huge waiting list that there is. In the case of Malta, the program is lean, and up to a certain extent, it's also simple. There are about 100,000 euros in terms of government fees, which you need to pay. And you need to pay during a term of almost 11 months. So even from a cash flow point of view, it is not very cumbersome. And besides that, once you are fully approved and before you receive the final certificate, then you have to make one of the two choices. You will either buy a property at a minimum price of 375,000, and we all know, Malta, that investing in property is actually investing in the future.
Yes.
The price appreciation, the capital appreciation of a property in Malta is about 10% every year, or rent a property Again, Malta is the only option, Malta is the only country that gives the rental option. The rental option is considerably cheaper and also more attractive for those wishing to start in phases.
Do you offer those kind of renting or
We
buying?
offer both the real estate option and as well the rental option.
Wow.
The minimum amount for the rental fees during the first 5 years, which are the compliance stage, we call them, the minimum rental fees, they have to be €14,000 annually. So,
Thank you, Dr. Charlon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for your sharing. And
thank you, Jane.
I will recommend to you to all my friends as you have like one-stop service for everything.
I'm glad.
That's what we really need, to be honest, as foreigner. I believe like even the client from China or America or Basque, because this is totally like different country for us. So we're really happy that there's like a company can just help us for everything from education and daily life. Thanks so much.
I'm so glad.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Aiden.
Thank you.